Welcome to Till All Are Done, the show where we're showcasing one toy for every character in the Transformers universe. We're still working through the G1 cast, and if you want to start from the very beginning and see who we've covered so far, check out the playlist in the description or click the card in the corner. But the best way to stay tuned for new episodes is to subscribe and see which figures I'm going to showcase next. So last episode, we finished covering all the characters featured in the pilot episode, More Than Meets the Eye Part 1. Now we can move on to other episodes, right? We have some Dinobots to cover. Well, hold your horses. We are not done with this episode yet. But who did we miss? There is one scene in the first episode that is perplexing, to say the least. The Autobots call in another Autobot to help pull a damaged Hound out of a ravine, and they refer to him as Hauler. He never speaks in the scene, he never transforms at all, and never appears again for the entire series. But what about when we see him in Season 2? No, that's Grapple. They look almost identical, but they're not the same. This very quick and very odd scene has led Transformers fans down the rabbit hole over the years as to why the character was included here at all and then scrapped. It's speculated that Hauler was to have a bigger role after the pilot episodes, and his toy is the missing 12th Transformer in the initial G1 Autobot Cars toy shipment cases. Later continuities give him a backstory where he's a Constructicon who wasn't reformatted to the Decepticon side like his ill-fated teammates. It's clear to see just how obscure this character is in the Transformers lore, and he is even more obscure on the toy side of things. Hauler has two toys. Well, actually three as of recently. One is a redeco of a G1 toy, Grapple, which ended up being an eHobby exclusive. Another is a repaint of Masterpiece Grapple, which is coming out soon. And then the other is the toy we're going to showcase right now.
The Transformers!
We will start in the mode that made this guy famous. Here we have the Transformers Legacy Velocitron Speedia 500 Collection Voyager Class Road Hauler. Nailed it. The toy is a retool of the War for Cybertron Earthrise Grapple, minus the really bad back peg design flaw, and sporting a brand new head sculpt. Road Hauler is the fourth version of this excellent mode, so he's got all the revisions packed in, which is great to hear. I love the lime green coloring, which is different from his only appearance in the G1 cartoon, but we have Grapple for that color anyways. With this coloration, he does look like he could be a Constructicon and just needs a bit of purple. I'm really curious to see how he would look standing beside all of the Studio Series 86 Constructicons. Probably pretty rad. What they should have done is color the transparent plastic windshield a hue of purple. Even if it was darker and less transparent, that would have been perfect for him. I just like the idea that he's a Constructicon, and that's why I want it so badly. But he is who he is, and the crane truck is colored nice enough. It gets better with the sculpting and detailing though. A lot of it was found on the Grapple figure, sure, but they were great, like the truck stabilizers on the sides. I like the little details on the crane, which look better than the Grapple ones do, because they stand out more with the added yellow coloring. Don't get me wrong, I do like that Grapple figure, but the green is either making some of the details pop more, or the designers did a good job accounting for the paint change. I don't know, it just looks really good here compared to Grapple. I think a lot of things are just popping out better. Storing the weapons on the tons of ports found on this guy will make him look more Constructicon-like and more twisted metal. There it is again. Slap a gun on a car and you got twisted metal. He's ready to win a tournament now. Plus we got the claw. It can replace a hook if you wanted to, or the claw can also store on any porthole on the chassis. I guess it doesn't make sense, but I wish they did give him all the accessories from Inferno and Artfire, even though he's not a fire truck. I don't know why he'd need a fire hose, but it would have been nice to have this. This would be the definitive version of the mold. Why not? Not gonna knock this toy for that, but just a missed opportunity. But hey, not many alt modes have articulation unless there's some beast or animal, and we got some here with the crane. It can extend pretty far, almost twice the length of the shaft housing it. That's way better than the recent SS86 Constructicon hook. Shame on you guys. How the fuck did Hasbro mess that guy up so badly? Plus, for this guy, you can move the hook / crane back and forth to a certain degree. The base of the crane can also rotate 360 degrees, and you can articulate the crane up and down almost 90 degrees. So it's nice to have this level of articulation on just the alt mode alone. This truck gave me a ton to talk about, but now it's time to see the rest of the retooling and see how it turned out. The transformation certainly has some moments of excellency, but it's doing a good job not overthinking it. Once you start unclipping parts, you'll see that sure, a few of the steps are simple, but then you have this whoa moment with the crane. The way the crane and head integrate into the robot mode is pretty interesting. You have this long hinged piece that just keeps folding and folding into the back until the head attaches to the top. The crane hangs down the back and even snaps in, keeping everything all proportion and nice and tight. It's genius how this works. The arms just kind of fold out as they were making up the bulk of the crane body. Not as exciting, but you have to have the parts that make sense like that. You have your intuitive steps like this too. Legs unpeg from each other and feet fold out. Most of this guy was in robot mode already, and that's okay. This transformation is simple but great, and it could have been a catastrophe if it inherited some of the problems from the Earthrise Grapple. I offhandedly mentioned it earlier, but there were problems with Grapple's pegs and how when you try to transform him, the pegs would shear clean off and get stuck in the portholes. That is a massive design flaw if I've ever seen one. Just to reiterate, all the repaints and retools, so Inferno, Artfire, and Road Hauler, don't have that problem. So enjoy this transformation as many times as you like, but if you're looking for a grapple, keep that in mind. Now, we're in robot mode, and for the most part, it's also excellent. The retooled head sculpt is my favorite part of this, and it gives him a cool shouting expression. He looks like he's stuck perpetually doing his best William Wallace Braveheart yell, or Predator Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's some great stuff, honestly, I dig it. I also like how his head is sunk into a part of the crane, which is attached to the back. Clever engineering there, we already talked about that. I really like the overall sculpting of the upper part of the robot, torso, head, and arms and all. I especially like how all the vehicle cable hangs off the sides, and normally that's a bad thing, but not when it's stuff like pistons and cool other stuff from the truck. However, I think paint-wise it's a little bland with the green and black. If we weren't gonna go with the purple and make the association to the Constructicons, some of the same silver color on the front of the truck would be nice to have accessing everything else on him. But on the other three molds, the leg is just the same color throughout, and here we have some actual black on the shins, so Hauler is actually doing better than his lads in this department. Legs look great, but you can see where they slashed some budget on the toy because there are some noticeable gaps on the inner thighs and on the feet. It's also inside the arms too. This is a hallmark of the second part of the War for Cybertron trilogy. Earthrise was known for having these types of shortcuts on toys for budgetary reasons, but here it's not the worst. We have reviewed worse on the show. I'm gonna pick on Trailbreaker again. Both of them are Voyagers, so where's Trailbreaker's excuse? This is not as bad as Trailbreaker, but I will note it here. Anyways, Road Hauler comes absolutely packing weaponry, including all the weapons from his mold mates, Grapple, Inferno, and Artfire. There's the pretty standard blaster rifle with some nice detailing, decoed in all black. Most of the weapons nowadays in the Generations line are nicely sculpted, but just unremarkable on the paint side of things. With an odd exception here, the nozzle got the silver treatment, which is nice, but the claw is still the base coat black. It is what it is, but I like how they deal with the hand situation so that you can fold in the wrists and reveal portholes to place whichever weapon you want. Good stuff all around, and I really like the claw weapon coming out of the hand the most. Combined with the way his face is, he looks like a madman coming to get you. Look out. It says Legacy on the box, but you know where this mold came from, so you already know how good the articulation is gonna be, especially for a figure that turns into a crane truck. Toy line was peak, what can I say? Head can rotate 360 degrees, but not much else. I understand though, considering where the head is located inside of that part of the crane. Arms rotate 360 degrees and shoulders shoot outwards 90 degrees, but the shoulder pads can get in the way sometimes depending on how the arms are rotated. You have a bicep swivel and 90-degree elbows as well. The only articulation you get out of the wrist is to expose the portholes for the weapons, so that's too bad, but it can be useful. We also have a 360 waist rotation that can be interrupted by the big ass crane on his back, but you can just unclip it and move the crane quite easily. Legs go forward, back, and to the side 90 degrees unimpeded, not even by the crane, so nice. You have 360 thigh swivel, 90 degree knees, and a shit ton of foot articulation. The feet go forward quite a bit, and then you get inward tilt, so that's really great. Other than the wrist swivel, he's got articulation for posing, and I'll keep saying this till the day I die on this hill. War for Cybertron trilogy, peak articulation. I still think Inferno is the best version of this mold, but Road Hauler is certainly an upgrade over Grapple. Just for that peg fix alone, you have a good reason to grab this one instead of Grapple. I'm giving this Velocitron Speedia 500 Road Hauler a 4 out of 5 stars. It's a really great pickup, especially for this character that is a lot harder and more expensive to pick up in his other toy iterations. Considering this toy got all the post-launch patches like it's some kind of video game, it has become an awesome pickup for my collection. I still want Grapple, but I have to be careful because the issues are always in the back of my mind, and I don't want to pick up one that's going to lead to that. This one does the same things, but in a different colors and with a funkier head sculpt. Here's to our obscure boy hauler. We brought you out of the light. I bet a lot of people didn't even know you existed before I put this out. Okay, we must be done with all the characters in More Than Meets the Eye Part 1, right? No? Okay, so check out next week's episode to see who the heck we're missing. I cannot believe this. Do all the YouTube things that make me and the algorithm happy. And, of course, hype. Hype. If I have hype, I don't even know if it's activated on my account yet. But if we do, and you have some spare points after you've chosen your favorite content creators, lend me some. Only if you have spare points. Thanks for spending your precious time here watching the JR Magnus channel, and peace out.